A very good day to sir. My name is Lim Yong Kang, matrix number 27986A, and this is my partner, which is Ho Seng Yu Brian, matrix number 2794555. So today we will present Principle of Data Science Assignment 2. So without wasting time, I will start my presentation. So the data set that we use to complete our Assignment 2 is Student Performance in Exams dataset. The dataset consists of the marks secured by the students in various subjects. So next is this is example dataset from in example, and we find the dataset in Kaggle. So the first one, I will determine about the types of learning for this dataset. So the types of learning for student performance in exams dataset is unsupervised learning. Why? This is because the dataset does not have an obvious target class. So the next is describe the model that our plan to develop. So our model we plan to develop our dataset is clustering model. Why? Because clustering is quite similar compared to classification, but the target classes are not predefined. Besides, it is not undirected during the data mining process. Clustering will cluster a group of data objects together based on the similarity to one another within the same cluster, and also the dissimilarity to the object in another cluster. So the next is name of algorithm. The algorithm that we use to model the students' performance in exam dataset is K-means. So K-means is a cluster algorithm in unsupervised machine learning that help us to analyze and grouping the unlabeled data. The K in K-means is the number of clusters that we need to create in process grouping the data. So why we use the K-mean? Because K-mean can easy to understand with low complexity, and it also can easy to implement and to analyze. So we no need to waste the time to cluster the data one by one. So when we face with large data sets, the algorithm can ensure the better scalability and give us some best result. And then determine the output of knowledge that can be extracted from the algorithm. Our output consists of 3 data training models based on K-mean. The training model is to cluster the test preparation cost into 2 clusters, which are completed or none. The training models are being evaluated based on accuracy by comparing the result of clustering with the actual test preparation cost. Finally, the cost accurate model is determined from the 3 models. So now we use the Python coding to help us to determine student performance in exam dataset by K-means. So here we use we import the function because later we must use the function to determine the dataset. So here we use this coding read CSV and set option because we want to print the full data from the CSV document. So we read and we print the result, and this is our result for the student performance in exam dataset in table form, and then from row 0 until row 999. So next, before we do the data exploration and data modeling, we must find out our missing value for this data set, and we must clean out all the missing value. So we use this coding to find and total out all the missing value, and the result we can see that there is not any missing value for this data set. So we just skip the step of visualize the missing value and clean the missing value. So next step is drop attribute. We drop race and ethnicity attribute because race and ethnicity attribute is not related to our modeling for student performance in exams datasets. And then we print again, and then this is a new table for this dataset, which is we have gender, parental, level of education, lunch, test preparation cost, math score, reading score, and writing score. So before we do the data modeling, we must change gender, parental level of education, lunch, and test preparation cost attribute from string form to numerical form. So this is the coding, which is label encoder, label encoder fix, and label encoder transform. So for these four attributes will use this code to transform the data to numerical form. So this is a result for the data set, which is they transform to numerical form already. So for gender, 0 is referred to female, 1 is referred to male. Parental level of education is referred, 0 is referred to associated degree, 1 is bachelor degree, and then 4 is high school. Sorry, 2 is high school, 3 is master degree, 4 is some college, and 5 is some high school. And then for lunch, we just have two number, which is 1 and 0. 1 is referred to standard, and 0 is referred to free or reduced. So and the last one, test preparation cost. 1 is referred to none, and 0 is referred to completed. So I will pass the presentation to my group mate, which is Brian. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Ho Shen Brian and my matrix number is 279455. I will continue the presentation of our group assignment 2 with preview group from data exploration stage. Since the test preparation course is our main class, for us to do clustering using k-means, we will preview group by gender with test preparation course and also preview group by lunch with test preparation course. For the preview group by gender with test preparation course, the result for both are about the same, just that for 0, which is equivalent to female, is slightly higher than 1 which is male. And for the preview group by lunch with test preparation course, the result for both is quite similar also, just that for 1, which is standard lunch, is slightly higher than 0, which is free or reduced lunch. Next, we will start removing target. We will remove the test preparation cost attribute, as this is the main target for us to do our clustering using k-means. Hence, we will drop test preparation cost as x, and we will set the remaining classes into an array of y. Now, we will start training the model. Since the result of test preparation cost is divided into 2, which is 1 to represent none and 0 to represent completed, we will set the number of classes for this training model of k-means into as 2. And next, we will feed the x into k-means, and we will also review and save the cluster labels. By seeing the student performance table, we can clearly see that there is a new class known as cluster, which is the result of our k-means. Next, for our first training model, we can determine the accuracy by setting correct equals to 0, and we will create a for loop for the range of length x, and we will print the accuracy of the first training model, which is the correct over length x. Based on our calculation, the accuracy of our first training model is 0.582, which is equivalent to 58.2%. We can also show the actual class and also compare it with the predicted class, and we can visualize it. Next, we will continue with our second k-means training model. This training model is quite similar when compared to the first one, just that we can set a max iteration and algorithm equals to auto. The result of the second training model is exactly opposite compared to the first one because we can set algorithm equals to auto. The accuracy of the second training model is 0.418, and we can also show the actual and the predicted class value. And from here, we can see that the predicted class for the second training model is exactly opposite when compared to the first predicted class of the first training model. Lastly, we will continue with our third training model, which is also our last training model using min-max scalar. In this k-means training model, we will transform all the value of all the attributes into value between 0 to 1. This is for us to increase the accuracy of our training model. Hence, we determine the accuracy of our third training model is 0.642, which is equivalent to 64.2%, and also the accuracy of this training model is the highest among the 3 training models. Next, we can see that all the values of all the attributes has been transformed into value between 0 to 1 by printing X scale. And lastly, we can show the actual of the test preparation cost and the predicted cost value. So for number 6 question of our assignment 2, which is data science produces knowledge. What is knowledge that you have gained from this learning and how it can be applied in the real world? Okay, we have gained a lot of knowledge from this study and it definitely benefits us a lot in terms of gaining new knowledge as well as application in the real world. We have gained the knowledge to train a dataset using k-means. It helps us to understand how to visualize and understand deeply on a dataset without predefined target class. It's a very good way of undirected data mining. For us, we have gained the ability to apply k-means in real life for marketing purposes. We as students often wish to do small businesses online in order for us to earn some pocket money and also to reduce the burden of our family by paying part of our fees. By applying k-means on marketing, we can characterize and discover the customer segments so that we can have more knowledge on customer and products in order for us to have a good earnings on our small business. That's all from our group. Thank you.